is what makes a great fight. Like, how do you get main event, co-main event, and featured fight? Because those are the top three that we use to sell the card. Now you can have Hey, what's going on, fight fans? Hey, this is Coach D, the Wild Man, coming at you again with another episode of Coach D Media. Now, you know how I do with Coach D Media. I talk about all things combat sports related, from the highs to the lows. All right, let's go ahead and get back into it. Today, we're going to talk about UFC 298, Volkanovski versus Topuria, if I'm saying his last name correct. Now, that's not the fight I really want to talk about. What I want to talk about is what makes a great fight. Like, how do you get main event, co-main event, and featured fight? Because those are the top three that we use to sell the card. Now, you can have a great card, right? And a great card can surprise you. You can have a lot of fighters you don't recognize, and they put on great fights, and you can go, okay, that was a pretty good card. But what most fans look at is the fighters they recognize on the card and who they're fighting, right? So we can see why Volkanovski versus Topuria is a good fight, right? You know, Alexander is the belt holder, right? Topuria is the challenger, and he's ranked number 3. So he's in that realm of, okay, it's time for me to get a title shot. We can go with that. Right? Then the co-main is Robert Whittaker versus Paul Costa, 2 stars. No matter how you look at it, you got 2 stars selling the co-main event, right? They both got something to gain, right? Potential, title shots could possibly be on the line with these particular fighters. Robert Whittaker's on a comeback, right? Trying to get his name established again. Paul Costa is trying to get back in the title shot as well. So we can see why. But here is where I don't understand that I'm talking about the most, okay? The feature spot is 1 notch below co-main. Those 3 fights, main event, co-main, and featured, are supposed to be all about your stars. All the guys that's selling the pay-per-view. Once you look at those 3, you know what kind of card you're going to have. That's how I was taught in the fight game, right? You need to get the main event spot, the co-main, or the feature. You get one of them 3, you somebody. You're supposed to be in the game, right? So when I got into it, I looked at Geoff Neal versus Garry, which I just talked about Garry, not to, my last podcast. But then I saw Merab versus Henry, right? Merab is number 2 and Henry is number 3 on the 4th fight of the night. They're not even featured, which I don't understand. They are the 2 bigger stars than Geoff Neal and Garry, by far. And they both got strong enough resumes to go, yeah, I deserve the feature spot. They even earned the co-main, in my opinion. I would have easily had no problem with Merab versus Henry in the co-main. Not at all. Not a problem, because Henry was a former belt holder, just like Robert Whittaker was. I wouldn't have had a problem that one bit. But they're the 4th fight on the card, which I quite don't understand. So are you saying freaking Neal and Garry is a higher profile fight than Merab and Henry Cejudo? I'm not sure I agree with that. Not at all. Right? Like I said, neither Garry don't got no star power fights on his card at all. He ain't fighting nobody really of superstardom worth. None of them were even title contenders. I don't think Neal had any title shots, right? So why are they in the spot that these fighters, that freaking Merab and Henry, both have fought belt holders? So why aren't they in the feature fight? I mean, come on now, let's have this real conversation, man. Freaking Henry Cejudo. Let me go to Henry Cejudo. All right, Henry Cejudo don't fall the who's who. We can't knock what he's done. Yeah, he's crazy, talking a little crazy shit from time to time, but he's fought some of the best. Fought Aljamain Sterling, just lost to that. Okay, so yeah, we got that. Okay, fought Dominic Cruz, fought Marlon Morales, title shot at that time, right? Fought TJ Dillashaw, title shot at that time, right? Demetrius Johnson, title shot at that time. Sergio Pettis was on the rise at that time. Fought, Benavidez, fought Demetrius Johnson again. You know what I'm saying? He has a resume of top fights, which makes him the guy. Okay? Let's look at freaking Merab, right? Merab has fought Peter Yan, Jose Aldo. You see what I'm saying? Morales, John Dotson, Lopez. He's fought good guys, right? So how are these guys with a way better resume, right, not get the feature spot on UFC 298? I don't quite get it. To me, it looks like they're trying to sell Ian Garry, right? Now, there's been a lot of stories of saying the UFC is rigged, right? That they're trying to build stars by putting fights together where certain fighters just win, right? You go, okay, how did he win that fight? Okay, let it go to the judges. It's a good chance the guy you want to win, that the UFC needs to win, is going to win. That's always been the argument. If you leave it up to the judges, you're screwed because they're going to pick the guy that they want to win. That's always been the argument, right? Poor judging. Now Geoff Neal is no joke. He is a good ass fighter, right? So that's going to be a good test for Ian Garry. If Ian Garry beats him soundly, you can go, okay, maybe Ian got something, right? Maybe Ian got something, depending on how he wins. If they go to distance and it looks like Neal won and he loses, then you have that argument of judging again, okay? But like I said, that would say that you're trying to push Ian Garry over Merab and Henry Cejudo, right? That's what you would say, right? Merab is number 2, right? He's a bigger star on paper. He has a better record on paper. He should be higher up, okay? So then I like, okay, well, shit, it is what it is. Then I looked at the freaking, the UFC countdown. You know, how they do the, take a look at all the fighters, right? Neal and Garry is not even on that. Right? They're not even on it. They got the main, co-main, and Merab and Henry. So that would tell you that Merab and Henry are the bigger people to give exposure to. But not in the fight schedule, where feature is important. Feature supposed to mean something. So that's where I'm confused. You're okay with putting them on the countdown, right, to UFC 298, but you're not okay with putting them in the feature spot on the card. I don't get it. So that's where my confusion is coming in on this right here. Because I can see, okay, you need new stars, but you need stars that can fight. Hype is one thing, but at the end of the day, you still got a daggone fight, man. So if you can't deliver great fights, or you can't get a great fight, right? Because you're not sure that you're gonna be the deliver, right? Then don't put him in the spots to make us think that you can, right? The feature spot says these are the guys. These are the next guys to look at. And then you look and you see you got 2 bigger stars with better records, 2 and 3, right? Below them, it's confusing. It's confusing. So that's why I'm like Trip. I go, come on now. Let's not, hype versus fight only goes so far. Right? And I get it. We're in this, crazy entertainment area where more people is talking shit online. I was on Sean Strickland's side. Then Sean Strickland is doing everything. That's another podcast with him beating up YouTubers. I'm like, all right, man, come on now. He back to the foolishness. Just when I think I'm on his side. You see? But that doesn't mean he can't fight, because he can. That's a little bit different. Ian Garry is running his mouth, but he ain't a world beater yet. You see? Not when you got him above world beaters, guys who beat real good fighters. So, yeah, we're going to see where that goes, because right now, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just old. Maybe that shit don't matter no more. We'll find out, because, yeah, not digging it from my side, right? So we'll see. We'll see. But that's all I got. I wanted to put that out there because I was like, wait a minute now. How does shit happen? So we're going to see. We're going to see how the fights play out. Maybe Maybe Neal and Garry steal the show. Then I got to come back on here and go, okay, hey, maybe, Merab and Henry do a snoozer. Maybe that's why. We'll find out. Right? That's all I got. Hey, this is Coach D, doing what I'm doing, calling it like I see it, talking my share of shit. To hear from me again, peace out.